Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I don't know about you, but this Virgo full moon, it's not what I expected or hoped for. It's been a really rough day. Well, the part of it in which I wasn't sleeping. I slept for 13 hours, slept right through the eclipse, then just had a weird day. Not really a good day. Just not a good day. I was going to say not a bad day, but no, just wasn't a good day. Bad, I don't know. Not bad, but I could have done without it. But I did do some research on it, and we're supposed to be letting go of a lot of things. A lot of things that don't serve us, things that are false. So the second part of the show today is going to be about false ideas and what false ideas do you hold in your mind about yourself. But first, I am going to read you guys some numerology because yesterday, while I was making the show, these numbers kept coming up. So the first number might mean something to some of you. The first number is 17. And in the I think this is called Ask the Angels or Angel Numbers. It's an app I found. It's pink. I found on the Play Store. It's a really good app. So if you're always noticing number patterns, this might be a good app for you. Okay. So for the number 17, the angels applaud you for staying positive and optimistic. They say that your optimism is warranted as your affirmative thoughts are coming true. Keep up the good work as you're on the right path. So that's for the number 17. That kept coming up yesterday. And 22 has been coming up for me probably for about the past 3 to 4 days. More so yesterday and then a little bit this morning. Well, by morning I mean afternoon because I slept. Had to sleep through that, had to sleep right through that Lunar Eclipse again. I can't believe it. All right. The second thing that's been coming up for me is 22. So if this is a number that's been coming up for you, this is what it means in the Ask Your Angels or Ask... I was going to ask your numbers? No, that doesn't make sense. Angel numbers? I don't know. I'll look it up. When I figure it out, I'll actually add it to my feed. All right. 22 means the angels can see the positive results of your prayers, and they want you to have patience and stay optimistic while the final details are being worked out in heaven. This is an urgent call from the angels to keep the faith. So that was for, number 22. All right. I don't know if I told you guys the other day, all the numbers that have been cropping up on the chart of the Schumann Resonance. But we did have 24 hours in which it was above 40 Hertz the entire time. Following the next day, it went back down to the baseline 7.83, but then spiked in the middle of the day to 33 Hertz. And now today, it was up to 67 Hertz. And as you know, the bottom rung of the fifth dimension is 40 Hertz. So we're doing pretty good, guys. This lunar eclipse, Virgo, full super moon thing. We have to let go of some stuff, but overall, we're doing good. We're up in the We're up in the fifth dimension. I know for me, right now, I'm sure up there. So, oh God, so many jokes, so little time. Okay, after these messages, or message, I am going to come back and talk to you about the falsies, the false ideas that we hold in our minds about ourselves, or that we tell other people about us. So, yeah, false ideas coming up next. Hey you, have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there. All right, guys, let's just jump right in. The Virgo full moon is all about sweeping your inner house clean, fixing what's in your mind that's false, letting go of ego-based beliefs that are false. Virgo is related to the Empress. It's related to fertile ground, and in order to have anything grow in fertile ground, you've got to clear the land first. You know, got to take out rocks and twigs. You got to clear the land. So in order for any positive, amazing, marvelous ideas, you want to plant inside yourself. in order for them to grow, you gotta make sure the land is clear, right? You gotta clear yourself. You gotta clear all your energy fields and false ideas you hold about yourself. So what false ideas are you holding in your mind about yourself right now that you can let go of? And what false ideas do you hold in your mind about others that you can let go of? And here's another set of questions for you. What stories, what false stories do you tell yourself about yourself that you can let go of? And what false stories do you tell others about yourself that you can let go of? I'm going to let you contemplate this for a second. There's drunk people outside laughing and joking and pretend fighting. Just another Tuesday night in Ecuador. I'm just kidding. It's never like this on Tuesday. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, oh yeah, the Virgo full moon, duh. Well, if you don't get drunk, you spiritually grow. If you get drunk enough, maybe that's spiritual growth in and of itself, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. Now we're going to get into something that's pretty big. But I'm hoping the recording will be pretty small. So that's ironic. Okay. Are you holding on to false guilt? False guilt is when you feel guilty for something that truly wasn't your fault. Like if there was an accident that occurred because of road conditions, but you feel guilty because your car slammed into someone's car. Now you've got to pay, but you feel guilty, like the emotion of guilt, Another kind of a stronger version of false guilt is if you and a friend were in a car accident and your friend died because maybe they wanted to drive and you said, no, I want to drive, and then the car slammed into their side of the car and they died. So you'd have a false sense of guilt, like, oh man, I shouldn't have insisted on driving. I should have been on that side. I should have been the one to die. He had everything in his life going for him. He should have, and I just made that up totally. But there's a lot of people that feel like, oh man, that person died. They're so much better of a person than me, and I should have died, not them. I've heard this my whole life from people around me. But you can't really take the place of somebody else, when it comes to dying. And you can't really hold on to false guilt when heaven calls somebody home. There's just no sense in that. But there's other false guilts, like a friend of mine in a past life had to steal bread because he was poor and his family was hungry, and he got caught and put in prison for 20 years. And that was his past life memory. So in this life, he felt so guilty about it because his family starved to death. He felt so guilty that he was practically starving to death his whole life. He had diabetes and he'd forget to eat all the time and pass out a lot. He was in the hospital a lot. God rest his soul, he has passed. Ironically, not from diabetes, though. He healed himself from this. But he held on to this false guilt for like a long time. And my husband and I, God, long time ago, 15-something years ago, we worked together and took him back to that past life using hypnotherapy. And it was awesome. The past life regression, it went well. He just realized that the guilt he was holding on to, he got caught. He did everything he could to not get caught. But he felt guilty about, like, living in a society where money was necessary. Otherwise, you have to resort to crime. There's a lot of layers to this from a spiritual standpoint and social and everything, right? But he took out of this experience this false guilt. So he punished himself with really bad health issues this time, relating directly to that false guilt. So when I ask you if you're holding on to false guilt, that's what I mean. I mean, from this life, from last week, from 100 years ago, from 2,000 years ago. Do a little scan your body, scan your emotional body, your mental body, even your physical body, and scan for that false guilt. Now we'll go to the next one. Are you holding on to false pride? Keeping up appearances comes to mind. Pretending that you have to, I can't explain it. Like, you have to be keeping up those appearances. You have to look a certain way and be a certain way, and because you have pride in yourself. But that's not really having pride in yourself. False pride is actually your ego having pride in itself. And so everything that you do is a knee-jerk reaction out of that ego pride. Not out of, real pride, There's certain things that you should be proud of yourself. Accomplishments, that you've made. That's a source of true pride, but being humble about it, Like, hey, I was able to get that PhD. Took me 10 to 12 years, but I did it, or whatever it is. Sure, have pride in something like that. But false pride can be being proud of being white. It's like, dude, that was just like the lottery. That was like luck of the draw, man. That's a false pride, and that's a really sinister and dangerous one. But when I say false pride, I mean like keeping up appearances or thinking that you're better than anybody else for any reason at all. That maybe God loves you just a little more. Because, it's all a big fat illusion anyway, right? We're all God. We're one being. And the one true God with the one will, he doesn't even work with pride. He's humble because he already is the greatest. He doesn't have to pump himself up to say he's the greatest. To who would he be speaking, right? God has no peers, right? So he's ultimately humble. Whew, I think God just channeled through me right there. That was so fun. Thanks, God. All right, so my next question for you is, are you holding on to a false past. When it's concerned with stories that you're telling yourself. Like, are you still blaming yourself for choices that the adults in your life made when you were still just a child? You know, like I've met adults that think that they're responsible for their mom and dad's divorce. And dude, that's false. That's a false story from the past. Only two people in a marriage can decide to end it. No one outside can, you know. The bond is only breakable by the two people in the marriage. So if you're holding on to that one, dude, just take a big deep breath. Just let that one go, man. Let that one go. But are you holding on to any other things that could be a story, a false story from your past? If you're holding on to a false past, no matter what it was. You know, I met a guy who said he never wants to meet his whore of a mother because she didn't even know who the father was. And said, father unknown on the birth certificate. And he held on to that for like 40 something years. I'm like, do you think that maybe she just didn't want to get him in trouble? Maybe he was married, or maybe she didn't want him to be responsible financially because that would hurt him. Maybe there's pressure from his family to keep his name off the certificate. You don't know what happened. It's 40 something years ago. And he was like, oh my God. So you think that maybe she wasn't really a prostitute? Like, no. She might have just been 17 years old. She might have been raped. You don't know her story. And he goes, oh my God. And then I saw like a glimmer of hope and a little bit of compassion in those eyes. And he just said, you know, that's true. You just released me from a false past. Because that's probably not at all what happened, what I thought. So ask yourself right now, are you holding on to a false past or a false story about your past? You know, don't blame yourself over choices that adults made when you were still just a child. So now the next one is, though, are you holding on to a false future? Wait, what, huh? False future. What does that mean? What do I mean by this? Well, when you say, you know, I'm not going to feel comfortable till I get that degree. I'm not going to feel happy till I get that husband. I'm not going to feel satisfied till I've purchased that house. I'm not going to feel fulfilled until my children get married. That's holding on to the story of a false future. I'll only be happy when X happens. Y and Z. When X, Y, and Z happens. So if you're holding on to a false future, you're never going to see the reality for what it is. You can't make those adjustments, you know? And the reality is, if you choose to always feel uncomfortable and you never want to be happy and you never want to feel, fresh and joyous in your own skin until you have enough money or you have that man or you've got the kids or whatever it is for you. You know, until you own that condominium building on the Upper East Side, you know, whatever it is for you. Everyone has a different thing. But if you keep saying that you're never going to be happy until whatever happens, you miss the whole point of getting on the boat in the first place to come to Earth. Because in spite of everything around us, we can still choose right now in this moment to be happy. You choose right now in this moment to feel satisfied and fulfilled and comfortable and at peace and in harmony. In fact, if you feel all those things now, that's how you're going to attract that great job. That's how you're going to attract the love of your life. It's going to be how you attract the success you seek, the success that you seek in every aspect of how you mean the word when you say it. So are you holding on to a false future? Are you holding on to a story about your false future? Like, are you going to be happy when something happens? Or are you going to be happy right now? Boost your happiness level with a piece of chocolate. Ecuadorian chocolate. Or a cup of coffee. Or do some nice little thing for yourself right now. Something that will start you on that path of happiness now. Be here now. It's all you got. So moving right along. This is an interesting one. A really, really interesting one. God helped me write this, so I'm going to be in and out, kind of floaty. Feel God in my energy field. He told me to write this down. Are you holding on to a false surrender? Oh man. Like if you're claiming to be of a specific religion and you're like not really following it, you're ignoring the rules. And I'm not saying that if you were born into a religion or you chose a religion and you've kind of decided not to be religious. I don't mean that. You know, like I told you guys that I converted to Islam. I said my Shahada, but I'm not practicing this religion because I'm more spiritual, more metaphysical. I'm more of a mystic. You know, I'm not interested in, religion where the rules are super rigid and, I feel like you tell people, it's like a false surrender. If you're holding on to a false surrender, like you're stuck in a religion that you don't even believe, or if you're ignoring the rules, like, for example, going around judging everybody. You're being overly judgmental. You're being a right. See you next Thursday. Like 5 days a week, that's how you are. 1 day a week, you're at Bible night. And then 1 day a week, you're at church. That's not how it should work, man. Walk your walk. Talk your talk, or better don't talk at all. False surrender, or people that claim that they're super spiritual when they could give a crap less about spirituality, but they say it to fit in, that's a false surrender too. If you're a scientific atheist type, just own it. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's who you truly are, if you're going to be genuine and be who you truly are, that's better than a false surrender. And then having to live up to the story of that. That's hard, man. Don't put yourself through that anymore. If you are. What about this one? Are you holding on to stories of false associations? This is a thing that actually happened that sparked this whole story today, this whole show today that I'm making. So here's a story. My friend from Sacramento wrote to me or just sent me a clip of a woman twerking her butt towards police officers. I guess they were trying to arrest her and she started twerking And then halfway through the twerk, she either lost her pants randomly or actually took them down. It was very hard to see what happened, but she was twerking her bare butt at the cops. So in and of itself, it was kind of a funny, weird, bizarre. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, it could have been a Vine. It might not even been real, right? But this friend of mine sent this to me, and she's always sending me religious stuff. And I keep telling her that I'm not even your religion, dude. Like, you know, you don't have to keep sending me this stuff. You know, if you don't repent and accept Jesus now type of stuff she keeps sending me. I'm like, that's not my religion, man. You know that's not my religion. And she's very well versed in what Islam is too. So I don't know why she's sending me this stuff. But anyway, so she sends me this video clip of this woman twerking at the police. And then she has this huge long diatribe about how this woman is reflecting poorly on her as a black woman, and how it's reflecting on all women as a woman. You know, and so she had herself all tied up in knots over the behavior of this one woman. You know, and it was really upsetting her. So I thought, if I say something from my point of view, maybe it will help. I said, well, you know, she doesn't really reflect on you. I mean, I don't see her and say, well, she's black, so that reflects poorly on you and my girl Vera and, you know, all my other girlfriends that are of color. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, right? Like, why would I see that and think of you right away? I wouldn't, because I don't think like that, you know? And she says, well, I asked all my friends, all my white friends and my black friends, and they all said this reflects poorly on black people, on black women. And I'm like, no, I don't think so, because I know the kind of person that you are individually. And I could see that this woman in that moment, in that 10 seconds of video, was in that mood at that moment doing that thing. But I don't know if that's how she is 100% of the time. So I can't say she's that. I can't falsely associate her with anything, you know? It's just a woman having a meltdown moment, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's had a meltdown moment. Lucky for most of us, it hasn't been caught on video. Yet. Oh God, please don't ever let me be caught on video having a meltdown moment. You know, but the idea of false association, I mean, this really bothered me, because she was so wrapped up in, I'm black, she's black, so she's reflecting on me, and then she went so far as to say, but you're not black, so you wouldn't know. I'm like, okay, well, correct. But I am a person that is different. I'm in Ecuador, and I don't speak Spanish as a first language, and I'm a lot paler than most people on the damn planet. Even people in Finland have a stronger tan than me. How the hell is that? They live in a world of ice. Anyway, but I digress. I'm like so pale, right? And so it's obvious that I'm a green guy, and everyone knows it. You know, and I've been the victim of a lot of apparent racist acts, you know, in the past 6 years. Being, you know, the only white woman in my neighborhood. Because I believe if you live among the locals, you understand the culture better, right? If you live among the tourists and complain about the locals, you're not going to learn anything. But anyway. But I don't know. I mean, I was trying to point out to this friend of mine, in order to ease and alleviate her pain, her emotional pain over this fool-ass woman twerking at the cops. You know, she said, I told her, you're not her. You know, just because you might have a similar feature, that doesn't mean that you're not associated. You should not consider yourself in association with this woman. You know, like you're in a different league. And then she said, well, you are a woman, so you should be offended and on behalf of all women. And yet there was another divide. Why are there so many divides? It's a freaking continental divide. It's so big. This false association bullcrap has got to stop. In all of us, you know? I mean, I saw that video and I laughed at it. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. She had a really bad meltdown on camera. My friends saw it and it like destroyed a part of her identity. To the point where she literally sent this with an explanation to almost 500 people on Facebook. Like it struck at her core at a deep level. I was just trying to, you know, pull that out of her, that negative energy she brought into herself. Just because she's suffering from false association. It's really like, it's sad when we do that, you know what I mean? Like, sure, Lizzie Borden, I think, was a redhead, right? And she killed her parents. That doesn't mean that I'm going to associate with that. That doesn't reflect poorly on me as a redhead because, you know, I didn't go crazy. I didn't kill my parents, you know, like, I guess like a really off the wall example. Sorry about that. But I mean, I don't know, who else can I associate myself with? I love Lucy, Lucille Ball. Yeah, I'm a comedian too. I like slapstick too. Yeah, okay. That's not a false association. That's just a direct association. Just kidding. So I don't know, but ask yourself, are you suffering from false associations? You know, don't allow another human being to reflect poorly on you, even if that person is your twin brother. No, at the end of days, we are there for ourselves and no one is there for us. At the end of days, it says in the Bible, like when it comes to be our time, we're standing at the gate of heaven. No one's going to answer for us but us, right? Only we are accountable. Only we are in charge of us. So why are you taking all that false association crap? You know. She wears the same color lipstick as me. Oh, I'm so guilty because she did something wrong. Sorry, that's not how that works, man. Don't be a false empath or, you know, don't take on people's stuff to, you know, show the world how great you are, you know, and especially when you're not really taking it on. Like, you know what I mean? If you don't falsely associate and then take the weight of the world of people that look like you onto your own shoulders, because that's too much weight for any one person to carry. That's why we each get our own burden to carry, no one else's. Maybe our kids for 18 years and then after that, no. So that's what I mean by false association. It's like deep. I went in there deep with this one, but it was necessary. It was necessary. In fact, take a deep breath. Just let it go right now. I choose now to release, relax, and let go of all my false associations. There we go. Okay, so basically with false associations, one thing I wanted to say was, don't take on someone's gender or skin color or hair color or whatever random Harvard going, or they went to the same school as me, or they're from California too. So I should feel guilty what Californians do, Nothing reflects poorly on you except what you do. And even if you fail, if you take that in stride and give yourself grace and give yourself space, basically you can be fine, You don't even have to feel bad about your failures. If you learn from them, if you fail over and over and over again and you don't learn a damn thing, then yeah. You feel a bit bad about that. If you want. I suppose, if you want. So, I have another one. Are you telling yourself false stories about your identity? Like, well, I'm a man, so I should be the breadwinner of the family. You know, or I'm the woman, so insert 1950s stereotype here. You know, what if you're transgender and you're denying yourself who you truly are? What if you're a female but you're inside you're male? You know it. Are you denying yourself that? Are you holding on to false identity? Would you feel more genuine and more real if you were allowing yourself the correct identity? You know? There's other layers to the false identity, not just gender. I just picked that as something to talk about today. But, you know, like a gender stereotype, women cry, but men would die before letting someone else see them cry. I mean, that's true. It's not true at all. None of that's true. That's just a false identity. I'm a man. I'm not going to cry. Big boys don't cry. That's bull. That's bull-larky. And everybody knows it. You should know it. I think that the best men in this world cry, and they don't apologize for it. When you're crying, all that's doing is releasing pent-up energy that's emotional. It's in your emotional body. I don't trust a man who can't cry. Because it might be a man who doesn't have actually any feelings, zero emotional intelligence, and well, we're going to be getting into that tomorrow when we talk about psychopaths and narcissists. And basically what to look for so you can avoid them. Yeah. We're going to be getting in deep into some psychological stuff this week. But I think it's just the Virgo moon is part of the sweeping out process. So, let's have one last affirmation. I now choose to let go of all of the false ideas I hold about others. I choose to let go of all the false ideas I hold about myself. I choose to let go of all the stories I tell myself about myself that are false. I choose to let go of all the stories I tell others about myself that are false. I will no longer hold on to false guilt. I will no longer hold on to false pride. I will no longer believe in a false past. I will no longer pray for a false future. I will not hide behind false surrender. I will not be guilty of false association. I will never hide myself anymore behind a false identity that the world wants me to be. I choose now to let go of all the falseness inside me so that I can be the truly genuine gem, the pure gemstone that's so rare and beautiful that God had in mind when He first created me. And 3 times 3, so mote it be. that's it. Man, I channeled God during a lot of this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to have to listen to it later. Make sure it makes sense, or I'll have to re-record it. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for being here, celebrating 1,000 people, or at least 1,000 looks on, or listeners, I should say, not lookers. Not much to look at. It's just one picture. But I've had 1,000 listens. I've made $2 whole. Woohoo! So I've had 1,000 listens. I want to thank you guys all for being here. I really appreciate it. I love you all. Just remember, give up all your false ideas and just love yourself. Love others. Give yourself space. Give yourself grace. Do the same for others. Your sisters and your brothers. Try as he might, I don't think God's going to ever get me to rap better than that. I'm so sorry, Jack. Oh, well. That's why God made me a podcaster. Anyway, thank you guys. If you want to shoot a message over to me, anchor.fm/metaphysical. If you want to write me at Tumblr, Metaphysical Mermaid. So, I don't know. Oh yeah, what's the other one? Facebook. Metaphysical Soul is how you write me on Facebook. If you just want to go to Metaphysical Soul Speak on Facebook, you could do that too. I'm trying hard to get on a couple more so I could tell you guys. But I'm now, all of my Metaphysical Soul Speaks from now on will be on my YouTube channel, Metaphysical Soul Speak. So that was a good and happy thing happened today. Anyway, I hope you guys are good. I hope you're happy. I hope you got through the full moon without a scratch. I hope everything is well with you in your world. So now I am signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, y'all. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.